Good afternoon. My name is Adam Crossley and I'm Head of Humanities and Deputy Head Academic at Raffles International School. And in this short presentation, I'm going to talk you through a little bit more about our IGCSE history course, what is involved in that course, how students develop their skills, and why you might want to look at doing history to help you beyond GCSE and in your further studies as well. So a little bit on the course overview. The IGCSE history course that we take here at Raffles focuses on the 20th century with a study that starts at the end of the First World War and goes all the way through to the mid-1990s with the fall of communism and the changes that happened in Europe then. That pretty much takes us all the way through the Year 10 course, and then in Year 11 we then move into a depth study. Now in the depth study that takes a slightly different approach where we look at a much shorter period of history, mainly in the past, the country that we've studied is the United States between the years 1919 and 1941. So we take a much shorter part of history, but we look at it in much more detail. So we look at the political aspects, the economic aspects, the social aspects, what it was like to live there for people at that time and have a much greater understanding of that. In doing that, throughout we're building on our skills of cause and effect, thinking about what were the causes, what were the consequences of certain historical events that happen, themes that run which show continuity, but also significant changes as well, how people are different, how events are different and how they're similar to one another too, and how we can use evidence either from cartoons, from speeches, from historian, and from a secondary perspective as well. Really stimulates anybody taking this course to think about some of the great events and the great questions of history in an academic sense, but also building an interest that can go beyond the classroom and hopefully going on for the rest of your lives. So the main skills that we're looking for in IGCSE history and what we're looking to develop, again, quite reflective of the course, is quite a broad range. Naturally, as with all GCSEs, there is the knowledge aspect, and students would be required to recall certain information. The misconception here is that, because you take history, it's memorizing lots of names and dates and things like that. But in reality, that's only a very small aspect of the course, and it's much more understanding of the how and why, which brings us on to second and third bullet point about demonstrating change in continuity, being able to explain these differences and these causes and consequences, and understand the motives, the emotions, the way that people felt and believed, and have much more empathy towards these events that happened. And through doing all of this, as I say, we look at the events themselves, but we also look at sources as evidence for how people have interpreted them, both at the time and afterwards as well. So combining all this together, we have options that allow you to go beyond GCSE. Primarily, first and foremost, that is through our AS and A-level course, which continues, and anybody looking to that, we would recommend that you study IGCSE history first to give a better grounding going into those studies. Other subjects that link quite well with that would be English literature being the main one, perhaps some other subjects like business and other humanities subjects too. There are definitely some crossover there, particularly in the skills that you would be learning. Thinking beyond then A-level, and once you move on from Raffles, it's history is, as I say, is very much a skills-based subject. It's, it's one of the most highly valued degrees by employers and can lead to a diverse areas in which careers can go. Teaching, obviously, by myself, I'm a history graduate, is one profession, but politics, journalism, diplomacy, government administration, business and commerce, legal professions would all be areas, in which history graduates go on to and excel from the skills and the disciplines that they've, that you've developed in the time studying. If you do have any more questions about history at GCSE, please feel free to come and see me if you're in school from a student perspective, or anything from parents at home. My contact details are in the options booklet, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.